Hello again. Today just now actually, I had a thought of an idea to share. It's about games and games that we play. But it seems to be a part of our entertainment system, right? Part of our, what we would call an education system. A part of how we teach ourselves how to interact with people, play games, how to connect with people, how to spend time with enjoyment with others, is in playing games. A lot of these games are not very serious, right? Sit down for a game of chess, a video game, an online game, and a lot of times there's not a lot at stake, just stuff to gain, camaraderie, this sort of thing. Other times we take it to greater extremes and get more serious, go into Vegas, spending resources that we have, sometimes people gambling it away. That gets a little more serious. But then there are the games that we play that we're not really aware that we're playing them, but nonetheless we're really playing them. I mean, there's even a term, for the player, the guy who's the playboy or whatever. He's playing. And, well, he may not be aware of it in each moment that he's actually, that people would refer to him as a player. But there's even deeper games of unawareness that we play. And I'm going to make this point, maybe I'm completely off base, but I'm going to say that the minute we depart from what we really are, or at least the closest perception of what we can see ourselves to be, which I'm going to posit here is just men and women, human beings. I mean, when we come from that perspective, we realize we, individually or a bunch of people, whatever, didn't create consciously. Nobody can say they consciously set out to create human beings. Human beings are here, it's what we are, right? So as long as we are human beings, and that's all we say we are, we interact with one another for the sake of our basic necessities and the enjoyment of each other and the helping of one another and this sort of thing. It's really hard to say at that point that we're playing. However, when we depart from that into constructs of what we have created, when we turn around and no longer call ourselves men and women, we call ourselves citizens. We call ourselves doctors and engineers and lawyers and Americans and British, Bengalis, communists, Catholics, cowboys and Indians, and Muslims, and Zoroastrians and Baha'i. The minute we call ourselves these things, I'm going to say we now are playing a game. And a lot of times we're not really aware of it, because these are labels. And sometimes these labels even come with icons of the label. Certain dress, this sort of thing. They can even come in the form of cards. What some people would call identity cards. That would be the me calling myself a driver, because that's a driving license card. I'd like to go back once again to another game that many people have enjoyed for a long time, and it's the game of chess, because chess tells us a lot about the way. More and more I'm seeing that the game of chess tells us a lot about the game that we play called life in abstraction. When we reach out and say, I am Dr. So-and-so, I am the assembly line mechanic, or whatever it is, we at that point have put as though our proverbial hand upon that icon, just like it's a piece on the chessboard. And as a result, we don a certain personality. We are responsible for that I am. Present ourselves as such. Follow a code of conduct pertaining to that. Just like there's a code of rules for whatever icon we put our hands on that chessboard. We can only do certain things. Outside of that, we're out of order. Just think about it. If you're a doctor, if you say you're a doctor, how many codes and regulations do you have to follow? How many penalties are there for violating those codes? There's probably a whole Bible of them, I would think. The greater this identity, the greater the number of rules and regulations attached to it, generally speaking. Doctor, for example, is the most regulated, the most, as far as I know, one of the most regulated anyway, identities that somebody can have in a game we normally call society. But that's all it is. The biggest difference is that it's a game that people are locked in a mental warp in, because most people, myself included, much of the time don't even realize we're in it. We know we're in the chess game when we're playing the chess game. We know that. But then when we get out to work, go back out to our cars, get in our cars, we think that us telling ourselves that we're drivers, that we're not in a game. Why don't we call ourselves men and women who are using an automobile to drive home, even say? But as soon as we say that we're drivers, that somewhere is documented and it says what that is. And we agree that that's what that is. Words are just words. But when we attach a concept to it, which is something we created as human beings, and when we say that we are something that we created, we're in fact even worse than idol worshipping. We're idol living. We're living within idols that we have created. Or icons, rather. It's iconism. I just coined that one. It's iconism. We're living through icons as though they are us. The whole thing, the name, the works. I thought of another thing today. People often ask me, because when people ask me my name, I just say my name is Steve. I don't say I am Steve anymore. Although I may have catch myself a few times saying that, because I would obviously that'd be like saying I am that pawn on the chessboard piece. No, I have that chess piece right now because I'm using it, right? So my name is Steve. But if it's any official outfit, like any kind of somebody's got to fill out something and there's a space, first name, last name, or last name, first name. What's the last name? And I generally tell them. But I was thinking today, realistically, I don't know what my last name is. Because last name, well, I haven't lived all my life yet. What's my last name? My last name will be whatever it is the last moment, right? Might change a few times. First name is pretty easy to guess, because Mom gave me a name, and the first one she gave me was the first given name, right? Stephen, actually, but I say Steve, it's simpler. And I don't even know if she gave it to me, really. I think she did. I don't have any, I'd have to ask her. I'm pretty sure she did. I know she gave it to the government. She gave it to a bureaucracy. because she sent it to them, off to them. So she gave it to them for sure. But she probably also, I'm pretty sure she gave it to me as well. But last name, I'm not sure. Tomorrow I might have a different one. So that's kind of like, being honest, right? Coming right down to it and being honest from where we are. That's the beauty of coming from what we are, and getting back to the very basics and thinking about, what am I saying? What am I saying? Because somebody said to me a while back ago, are you sure when your birthday is? And I said, yeah, because that's somebody said so. Well, do you remember it? Do you remember your birthday? So if you don't remember your birthday, it's basically hearsay. So if somebody asks my birthday now, I'm not sure when it is. I don't remember that day. So I'm told it's this day, but I can't say for sure that it is. It says in this document that it is that day, but I didn't write that. So I can't say for sure that was the day that I was born. Once again, see, the honesty of it. And it's kind of relieving because you don't have to make up as much stuff anymore, or just don't have to be living in the game at every moment. We can actually step out of the game and be aware of it. And that, I think, is the point of this ramble this evening. Because always got to be a point, one of these, right? Improving the quality of our life experience. Well, when we can recognize the game more often for what it is, we realize that when we're in it, consciously anyways, we're in it because we made a decision to be in it. Just like we made a decision to sit down and play a game of chess or checkers or whatever it is, crazy eights. In the same way, we've chosen to be in that game for some sort of a benefit. It might be a self-defense benefit. It could be any kind of a benefit. Nevertheless, we chose to do it. But what we really are still is the one who's actually sitting back and moving the pieces, choosing which piece to use at this moment. That's what we really are. And when we recognize that, we recognize we're the players, first of all, but we're not that. But it's kind of like a little bit of an awakening. And the more often we do, the more often we can actually spend time completely out of the game. And that's really relieving. Because that, I would say, I'm going to submit on this, is really being ourselves. So just a couple thoughts on playing games. So often the basic games that we play, we're aware of them. And there's people we even call players in life. But most of all, a great deal of us are playing games much of the time because we're going around and telling people and telling ourselves that we're actually icons. Hi, I am Steve. I'm playing a game. How can I possibly be Steve? What's Steve? Steve is a sound. It's a name. How can I be a name? I have a name. So the correct statement is, my name is Steve, because that's what I use. It's like if I have a car outside, I don't say I am car. No, I have a car. My car is there. My car is blue or something. Not I am blue car, right? It's a language. The words are funny that way, but I mean it tells us a lot about ourselves when we start to recognize those things. And quality of life in the moment, maybe not, but long term, honesty, I think it goes a long ways for our quality of life. Being true to ourselves, what we are. If we're in the game, we can know we are, we know why we are, and we can spend time out of the game. Great chatting. Talk again soon. Bye for now.